Hello, here is a Defacto review. Today, September 27th, 2021. I would like to update my English-speaking audiences with what had happened last week in Mongolia. What is behind this event of shortage of food and other several events. As you know, Mongolia is completely dependent on Russia in three things. One, energy. Second, food supply. Third, railways. And Mongolia dependent on the rest of sectors, almost all sectors except some meat and flour production, few foods. So Mongolia, small country, dependent on to our neighbors completely. And that dependence we feel from time to time, like a cold shower. Why? Because Russia is cutting the supply of these three things from time to time, and China is closing borders from time to time. Every time we feel that cold shower. But, however, after this cold shower, we feel the importance of being independent in these things, in these supplies. And every time it helps to make a little bit small restructure in terms of our production and consumption of those goods we are dependent on. And every time I believe we have one step forward to be independent in these fields. Of course, long way to go, but every time we increase our awareness of Mongolians feel we get our awareness to solve the issues faster. But again, it will take a long time. So what happened last week? September 17th, Mongolian government have concluded the contract of construction turnkey project that was internationally announced tender, and it is Irtin Bureng hydropower stations. These power stations will be built in our western provinces at the point where three IMAX of Spyingulgi Hovd IMAX meet. At one point, there is a Hovd River, which is very ideal location for building, because it's big, long valley, and building electric power stations, hydropower stations. And that is very important for Mongolia because nowadays, three IMAX in the western IMAX, in the western province, or part of Mongolia, gets electric power from Russia. We pay a lot of money. And then what happened was, after September, on 20th of September, that the Russian supply had stopped due to, they say it's a scheduled repairment. Okay, then on the same day, September 20th, Mongolia got a letter from Rosneft on which 95% depends in terms of food supply to Mongolia, gasoline, diesel, etc. Though they have said that early spring, they said they will have repair work in Angarsk refinery, only refinery close to our border, which 100% supplies all Russia supplies of food to Mongolia. Then Mongolia was preparing for that, made a contract with China to replace those part of supply of food that the Russians could not do it. But then suddenly, September 20th, they got a letter from Rosneft that they cannot even anymore supply for this month food that they have agreed to supply. So we got panic in Mongolia. We got a whole week of queue long queue at every gas stations in Ulaanbaatar city and in IMAX. So we got this cold shower, sudden shower, and again, whether all these things happening by chance, whether all these events are connected, I don't know a final answer, but there are rumors. At the high level, they say, part of Mongolians say, that, this is because Mongolian president and Mongolian speaker have visited the US, not our neighbor countries, at the same time. Both now, one president is at the UN General Assembly. The speaker is on scheduled visit to the US and meeting American lawmakers and other officials. That's one part. The people, during this cold shower, people a lot politicize. Everybody is almost becoming geopolitical analysts. So I don't know whether that high level explanation is right or not. It is not me who tell you that they are right or not. But still, these Mongolian officials are visiting through the US, and I don't personally believe that Russia and China are becoming so painful, becoming so sensitive on that issue. But whether connect or not, it's not me to answer. But I can a little bit lower level, more level explanation on that from my side. Why? This power stations project, there were Russians and Chinese companies competing for the tender. And then two Chinese companies won the tender. One is a power construction, China. The other is Power Chengdung, Power China Chengdung company. These two companies will complete that construction of this hydropower stations in 2027, 4 years after. And total project cost is around $288 million out of which 271 is soft loan from Chinese Exim Bank, and Mongolian government budget will put some $14 million. This project is very useful project for Mongolia in solution of that energy dependence of Mongolia on Russia. And there were also Russian companies competing on this tender, and they could not win. And as I see in energy projects, many Mongolian politicians are connected. And my version of that is the Russian companies could not win, and they have been working with certain level politicians to win that tender. They could not do. And maybe that very loss of tender could be connected with the other consequent supply of electric power and gasoline issues. But nevertheless, so after a week, we are solving the problem, and the expectation is from today we'll have normal supply of food. But however, that, whether I am right or not, in any case, there are two things we need to solve in Mongolia. First, it's a matter of governance quality issue. It's a matter of fighting corruption. It's having better control of, better monitoring by people, which that democracy gives that, right? People to watch our elected officials and their created government and all-level governance in the country first. Secondly, it's a matter of Mongolian government still controlling prices for food, prices for renting, etc. So, and we're supposed to be a market economy, free market economy, which is not the case with the control of those things by the government. I think it's direct consequences of a government controlling prices for food. Though Mongolia is importing food from one country, almost from one company, only 5% from China, there are many importers of this food. They can compete if it's a free market, free price. They can compete with reducing their costs. So there will be a certain competition that will provide at least consistent supply of food, maybe different prices, but however, we will not be in such a situation where everybody is sitting in the car, living in the car actually for a week in line of buying food. So that's two things I think Mongolia needs to do in order to reduce that dependence of Mongolia, at least in this energy and food, etc. And there is another big issue of Mongolian dependence on Russia railways. That's a matter of next review. Thank you very much.